How are you guys doing? How are you all? Welcome once again to these wonderful channels such as
Agencia Cósmica and Space Academy, Earth Sector,
and Despejando Enigmas, Revelación Cósmica Semillas Estelares, and Eniquit Official.
Welcome to another chat that we are recording right at the end of our expedition that we just finished, where we went camping for 2 nights with Matthias and Bongo.
Exactly. We went to a very beautiful town called Hanko, where we are gonna share videos on the channel. You can say the channel without any.
Agencia Cósmica, Space Academy, on my Odyssey.
On the channel that Gosha is called My Odyssey, and I on my other channel that many people don't know about called Robert Finlandia, a channel to empower people, exercise, play sports, and live life, because it's also about living life, being happy.
If not primarily.
Exactly.
Okay. And why are we here now? Well, for the new people, this is the section of videos we call chats, which we have been doing for many years now, about different topics that come up. Sometimes they are improvised. Today we have a few points to touch on, but it is also quite improvised.
It is quite improvised. Yes. Totally correct. Just a moment. We are recording here with 2 cameras, as you know.
Another thing I have to mention is that, as I said, we have already done the expedition. We are tired. I slept 2 nights in the tent. I am a bit tired, and you know how I get when I talk a lot. My energy drops. I mean, if you notice me with a bit lower energy, that is why. And also because we just arrived, he didn't even comb his hair or change his clothes. That is why. And I say it because people are always analyzing and looking for stories. But why does he look like that? And why is that happening to him? Well, where do we start?
with whatever you want. Did you have a list of current topics?
Well, the first topic is simply what is happening in the middle of the disclosure, this official disclosure that is unfolding. My first question for you, are you paying attention to what is happening?
Yes.
Yes. There is several people who are directing the declassification issue for the Pentagon, the White House. It's called Pursue, which is the declassification by the Donald Trump administration. And let's say the actors, let's call them actors, are Paulina Luna, Eric.
Who came out of nowhere.
Exactly.
So to speak, honestly, like she's connected for some reason. She popped up like mushrooms in autumn. Eric Barlison, Tim Burchett. Basically, it's these 3. Basically. And then, well, there are the insiders like David Grush and a few others. Right? Elizondo. They are making a lot of noise about it now. And I see that everything is orchestrated, rationed, they release it in stages, and see how the public accepts it. Depending on the acceptance and how demanding they are, they will give a little more, a little less. That is the declassification that, well, to me, they won't declassify anything in the end, eh? I mean, it's just a feeling that they are doing something.
Yes, I'm also paying attention, although we always say that what governments do, no, it's worthless, but I am paying attention because I want to see what they are doing with people, what they are giving, what they are developing, and I want to try to intuit where this is going because, as you said, they are doing something. And this is with the Pentagon, as you said, but I am also sure that there is the Vatican behind all this, that there are many people who now also talk about the Jesuits behind it, exposing this plan that comes from there.
And, well, the new language, right? Extraterrestrial is now ruled out, and it's interdimensional plasmatic beings. I mean, demons, angels, so the word extraterrestrial is discarded.
And with that, you wipe out everything that comes after. Other worlds, planets, Federation. You wipe it all out. Interdimensional, screw that. Also, Dr. Phil, this is
An American who has had a television show for many years. It's like Oprah style. Do you know Oprah? Okay, right. They are television personalities who have had their shows for many years. They are very well known. He is a psychologist. He's very well known. And from what I understand, dear.
Dr. Phil from the United States.
Doctor, yes, it's an American show.
He's a guy with a beard.
He has a little less hair on top like this.
I don't know who he is.
What I mean is that it came out now that Dr. Phil, who used to be a total skeptic from what I understand, is a normal everyday person. It turns out he had privileged access as one of the first.
Who's the one with the mustache?
Yes, mustache, yes. To this fourth part of.
Mario Bros.
Let me explain. To this fourth part that came out of the archives, he had some private access given by Donald Trump or whoever was already chosen to also take into their hands a part of this disclosure to bring it to the more commercial public, because this Dr. Phil is very well known to the normal commercial population. This means that they are planning to extend this disclosure to the more normal public because he suddenly became very defensive of the disclosure. He is saying, they have lied to us and I don't know what story that he has discovered, many secret things, but before, no. Before he was never interested. And suddenly, why do they give access to him among many, many? Well, why? Because he is a person very well known to the normal commercial world. And I think that with this, they are planning, as I already said, to warm up the topic for the normal public.
Exactly. Neil deGrasse, this one with the black mustache, remember? Neil deGrasse Tyson or something like that is his name.
This one, I don't know.
This is the same thing. He was a total skeptic. And now, come on, he even talks about the extraterrestrial races that exist. And then we have Bilbo, right? A scientist who, come on, he warmed our heads up with the 3 wings, and the first thing he does once he is appointed is to disqualify another scientist who is Beatriz Villarreal, who, well, saw some transients before the Sputnik, intelligent lights, or that moved in an intelligent way, and automatically what this one, Bilbo, does is discredit her and says, whatever comes, comes. Don't ask questions about the past. For example, why have you been lying to us for so many years?
For example.
Yes, but the bit about the Jesuits and the Vatican is also, I think, an important piece here. I was watching Leo Zagami's interview, who is a guy who is Italian and was an ex-Illuminati, and he is bringing out, exposing a lot of the Vatican to the point that they stripped him of his Italian citizenship. He had to hide in the United States because he was exposing too many of the Vatican's secrets. And what he is saying, what we were also saying earlier, the involvement of the Jesuits, who had been preparing this for a long time. In fact, it also came out that Luis Elizondo used to go to the Vatican to consult on things there. So everything is connected. Where are they leading the public? We don't know. But I am paying attention just to see more or less what they want to do.
Well, directing humanity's perception, creating an openly global government, and the number one enemy is going to be the extraterrestrials, whatever race they may be.
And this brings me to another point, whatever race they may be. I think this crossed my mind that I believe that real disclosure now actually appearing for the extraterrestrials is going to be super difficult.
Right.
Because I think, look at it. You think that in this landscape we have, if governments or whoever presents them in a negative way, then it's a fake alien invasion. Now, if they supposedly come as benevolent, we are also going to suspect that this is fake, because we have also said that Plan B or Plan A is for a benevolent but fake Galactic Federation or some fake benevolent contact to appear. So in this context, how are the real extraterrestrials going to introduce themselves? Because from either side they might appear, whether bad or good, people are going to be suspicious. So you think in what way this is a very difficult task for you, extraterrestrial people, now, to do something that is credible, that people truly believe?
Sure.
How do you think it could?
How could it happen?
How could they appear to be credible?
To be credible. Well, I think the way is to control all the media, like something similar. I don't say the same. Similar to that Steven Spielberg movie, meaning to control all the media.
And then?
From there, make themselves known. But of course...
But how are you going to know that this is real? That this is positive? That could also be fabricated.
Exactly. The problem is that from my point of view, and in fact Esperu, made a video about this. Humanity is not prepared. Period. Why? Because, well, a declassification, we've said it many times, a declassification of the extraterrestrial phenomenon topples the energy sector, the pharmaceutical sector. It's going to topple everything. The religious, monetary, everything. All the pillars of the matrix will fall to the ground. Is humanity prepared?
Some are, but not everyone.
But the issue here is also, even when they do it and the matrix is toppled, many people will see it not as an invasion, but as an indication that they are real. But that could also be a stage of the false illusion fed to the people. We are tearing down the matrix because to build a new world order, you have to dismantle the political and religious system, whatever came before, all of this. So just because the matrix is toppled doesn't mean it's something benevolent, because it could be a long-term deception. They have time to develop all this and people will fall for it because there will be medical technologies, all sorts of things, and people will be drawn in and fall for it.
I highly doubt they will share the med beds. I doubt it very, very much. 0-point energy that a holistic society is established.
But even if they establish it, if they install it, that could be a screen to seduce people, to convince you they are the good guys.
Of course.
Because you have to offer something so people fall for it. You have to give something. And it can't be good either. That's why I say this is a very difficult task now for the extraterrestrials to actually present something real.
And the problem, because there is a problem, not everyone living in this reality is evolved in the same way. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. If we were all well evolved, we would already be in a holistic society. But that's just not the case. Most people are still celebrating the World Cup or whatever nonsense.
Yeah, this is very sad. In fact, days ago I was thinking about this too, seeing people's opinions. Because now it's understandable that with all these disclosures, many opinions on this phenomenon will come to light. Everyone will come up with their own theories. There is no unity of opinion, none at all. They can't agree on what this phenomenon is. There are many fights, many narratives. Each one channels this or understands it differently. Depending on evolution, consciousness, perception, or whatever, each person will see something different. In all of this, it's very difficult now to get people to agree. And it's sad, the state of the world, but I understand it's a natural process that it's gonna be like this, that when these topics are discussed, people will come out with their theories, all different ideas. It's something natural. Look,
Look, they've just cast a line.
Just cast the line and they've caught something. Just cast the rod.
a process of like purification in a way, of many ideas coming to light. Now everything from the shadows will come out into this field. So it's going to be a process. It will be a process. And it's a bit sad, the state of the world, when I see each person with a different understanding of what is happening. So the extraterrestrials uniting people, that will be very difficult, but maybe it's not even necessary for them to unite as long as they respect each other. No, I don't know.
Very strange what is coming. Look, they're going to release it, they're going to release it. Did he take a picture? And yes, better.
I mean, what they want to do is establish a world government. I mean, the people in power won't want to give up power because, well, here we'll get into the usual. Those who really rule need to feed on the energy they emanate through suffering. And the experience here on Earth is an experience of duality. That's a lot of things happen here, guys. Look, you are what you want, but what you are, no matter how much of a holographic society we have here, holistic humanity, will keep projecting its ideas, so it won't be of any use.
That's what I mean, that these ideas are now coming to light, everything inside each person. Yes, because everyone has a world of ideas, and everything is now coming to light. This situation is bringing to light everything. Inside your subconscious, your conscious, everything is coming out. And let's see what comes out on the other side of this tunnel we are going through.
Exactly.
probing what people are thinking. And they've seen that there is a lot of interest because this official Pentagon page of the war government has had many, many visits. So there's a very great interest from the population regarding the truth.
That's why they brought in Dr. Phil to enter the field, because he has the respect of the American public and beyond more normal. And so they are taking it to this more normal ground. But this, as I say, this indicates to me
That they want to extend the subject to the general public.
I was thinking that could have anything to do with it. The declassification of the extraterrestrial phenomenon with, let's say, the disappearance.
Well, this was another topic. Yes, exactly, because everything is very strange. All this is very strange because I believe there is no such thing as a coincidence here. The fact that our team was eliminated little by little, person by person, until it ended with our friend Gosha and myself. I mean, we were left as narcissists in such a gradual way that almost no one noticed anything, because you can't eliminate everyone at once because it's too suspicious.
Disclosure was erased.
Everyone, okay? And at the same time, this artificial intelligence world market exploded, totally exploded, and suddenly the topic of official disclosures came up.
How is this related?
Exactly. How is it? It's a question I'm throwing out there. I mean, the people.
Because we don't know the answer. And then, look, I'm not going to say names, but, well, let people not take it personally, please. I am talking about other people that surely most of you don't know. So let the many people who are channeling now not take this personally. No, don't mention names, because we don't want to give them publicity. But it is just mind-blowing. Mind-blowing.
Both the English world and the Spanish world, and sometimes I see people asking us, Robert Gosha, you must speak out about this case. Oh, we are not gonna talk about or address every person who comes out channeling, because there are so many people out there, so many cases, so many people who channel, who connect astrally, who have theories, who know things.
We are not talking about the people that, at least I know, who are followers of our divulgation. I'm not referring to them. I'm referring to other people who have nothing to do with it. People out there who come out with some tall tales that are, honestly, bottom of the barrel.
And they say this one is in contact, or another is in contact, mostly telepathically or whatever. Okay, although in some cases it could be possible that they might see something astrally. I'm not saying this because this is real, but we are not going to clarify or talk about every case that comes out there, because they come out and out and out. So many of them. So many people who are declaring that they are in contact. Okay. In short, if we agree with them, if we believe them, in short, I wouldn't say that. Not at all. And why?
Not at all.
We don't study every case either, and we don't know every case, but in theory, our case is different because we have this privilege of having direct contact, not astral, not telepathic, not channeled, so to speak, and via audio. So we are already very programmed, so to speak. I don't know if that's the right word, to want only this type or to trust this type of contact regarding the subject.
The subject of channeling is very complicated. It's super complicated. I mean, starting from the base, guys, that there is no material world, rather everything is astral. Start thinking from there. And then the next thing, which is very important, we have human experiences. Human experience. What does that mean? That everything you channel has to be compatible with your frequency state. Very important. And then from there, how much of it is human and how much of it is you?
How much is how much is matrix, and how much is what you've actually channeled and been able to bring into this physical, in quotes?
And how much is there also the human desire to want to take advantage of their disappearance, so that they can now claim that it's them in telepathic contact, bringing in new messages. Why do people fall for it sometimes? Why is it understood? Because they miss them. And also people take advantage. And it's not just that some in our community miss them, which is understandable, but many became very dependent. So others come along who channel, taking advantage of this dependency that was created, and so these people will be seduced by those channelings because, oh, well, we finally have contact, right? It's a bit like that. That, on our part, if you really want our general statement, we aren't speaking about any specific case because we don't have time to look at every single one. In general, it's hard for us to trust, and we don't really see this type of contact as something credible for us.
Not at all. From my point of view, it's even worthy of being reported. I'm just saying that.
Some are even reportable because they take advantage of names, of definitions of terms.
I repeat, let the people I know and have interviewed, just to wrap things up, let those I've interviewed, on occasion, not feel targeted. It's us, others. That has just appeared now. They are new now, something that has newly appeared.
Well, what else? Oh, what I also wanted to mention is about CERN, because they said that recently, a month ago or a few weeks ago, they shut down CERN, and well, there are many theories because some say they shut down CERN, which is actually a curious synchronicity with what is happening with the disclosures, and they are saying this was the intervention of positive extraterrestrials who helped get it shut down. Then there are other curious people saying with the remote viewing, right, that nothing was closed, that this is a lie, that they haven't closed it, and are continuing it in secret. Maybe it could also be in other locations, that they have it in other places. But what I wanted to ask you, because there are also people who believe that it was closed, who say they notice energetic changes, like reality feels different. Did you notice anything different?
I lean more towards the idea that it hasn't been closed.
So the question is, no, the answer is that you haven't noticed anything energetically.
Exactly. I haven't noticed anything, nothing at all, energetically. Look, I was already noticing things energetically before this news. But it has nothing to do with it. That's why I don't think they closed it.
Why? But
Do you believe it or do you know it from a source?
Feeling I have is, do you think they would publicly say they're closing it? I mean, so that the conspiracy theorists or people with other ideas stop talking about this. Look, I've heard people say that under those facilities there is, I don't know, it's like a dome, right? And in one of those domes, I don't know, they say that every time they opened it or it was activated, I don't know exactly what they say, but someone appeared and took objects from the room, but they couldn't see them. Yet objects would disappear. It could be anything from a monkey from another timeline to someone dangerous. And they say they are also using it to move things.
It is very psychological. Some solar portal comes, yes, I feel lighter now, I notice something. People imagine things. I didn't notice anything, energetically. In fact, I always feel very normal. My moods are quite normal, always stable. Of course, there are fluctuations. In fact, I had a fluctuation this week. I felt a bit heavier. Energetically, that's true, but that's not from the date of the supposed closure of CERN. But there are people saying that they are setting the timelines in order now, because before the being was fragmenting the lines or experimenting with them, and now everything is being put in order. And this is the work of the positive extraterrestrials, who are also behind the disclosures or whatever.
But let's see, from my point of view, if I'm wrong, correct me.
I don't know. Timelines, each one of us is a timeline. Timeline means that you place, through your state of consciousness, your attention on one side, but you place it, not someone else. So to say that extraterrestrials are changing them, from my point of view, what can I tell you?
I remember that she also said that she worked for the squadron she was trained to with the Taygetan group to move the timelines collectively.
Something like that. If you, at an individual level, are already creating, let's say, your positive line, why would they change it for you?
Yes, of course. But But I think one doesn't necessarily contradict the other, because I think there is something more metaphysical here that even Yaz was explaining, that one can somehow collectively move the lines.
But I imagine they meant that yes, there are some who can achieve it, and others I don't know, or who are trying to make the efforts but aren't succeeding. As a curious and anecdotal piece of information, I'm watching some videos of the Yeti. No, don't start laughing, right? Anika told me they were interdimensional beings, that they were studying them because how is it that the Yeti had qualities that the human being didn't have, and they were studying it a lot. But it turns out that this is as if it were, well, you already know, all by frequencies, and that this being has the capacity, I don't know if it does it consciously or unconsciously, to vary its own frequency. That is to say, being in the same reality, it is capable of changing to a reality, let's say parallel, in which the observer, who could be you, is not there. So that's why you see it as if it were the Predator movie, like a blurry spot, because it's in another reality. It's being proven now. It's mind-blowing.
Yes.
So that would be an interdimensional being.
So what I'm referring to is that, yes, there are people who can change, let's call it the timeline, but others try and, well, their level.
But I don't know if this is a timeline or range of perception, or what it could be, right?
I would say range of perception as well.
Range of perception.
Yes.
Of perception.
What else did you have in mind to discuss?
Well, also that, well, views on channels have dropped a lot, and things like that.
Well, yeah.
They have dropped. Well, I don't know if it's the famous algorithm or whatever, but views have dropped a lot. I mean, a lot.
Algorithms are always changing, so you can barely keep up with the pace of adjusting whatever it is, although I don't focus much on those adjustments anyway, but even if I wanted to adjust something according to those algorithms, next month they'll have others.
The point is that this ends up affecting you economically. Let's be blunt, it affects you. And well, I don't know how to explain it. You're doing a job. I'm speaking from that point of view at least, right? You're doing a job that takes hours and hours. And in the end, YouTube pays you a pittance, really. It pays you a pittance. That might be, look, one of my last videos, for example, I uploaded a video yesterday, or the day before. 16 views, a video that takes me hours to make. Hours. I'm talking about hours. Do you know how much YouTube pays you, for example? Maybe it doesn't even reach €1 or €2.
It's true. This is true.
From my point of view, well, sometimes I say, hey, am I gonna, I don't know, share or do something for €1 or €2?
But look, it's not that we won't share something for €1. Of course we will, because it's our passion. But we also have to pay our rent and internet and all that. And so it's a complicated issue. Obviously, I would also keep doing it for €1 less, or even 0.
Yes, but look, you still have to pay the electricity, you have to pay it, obviously.
And so yes, it's like me with my channel, my agency, Cosmic Agency. I had a channel for 5 years without monetizing. So of course, I would always keep doing it, but I would have to find something else to provide me with some financial reward, because you know where we live, right? Right? On planet Earth, where you have to pay for everything. So that is the issue. And yes, the views, the monetization is totally absurd. It's €5 per video. All these people who say we're doing it for money have no idea. You have to, it's just that they don't have a damn clue. Not a damn clue. I could make videos about, like I say, teaching, cooking, what's in my bag, or ASMR sounds.
And that gives you more, it gives you more than talking about metaphysics, spirituality, and personal growth, because that's how it is. What I was telling you before recording the video, hey, I had the channel, look, I was with the Des Enigmas and Redagarda channels for 1 year and 6 months uploading videos and didn't get a damn cent. So then I opened this channel, Robert Finlandia, where there was a time I was making almost a video a day, and with 0 effort, I was already earning more than with the Des Enigmas channel. Why? Because it seems that for YouTube, talking about certain topics is more recommendable. The algorithm is steering you away from certain information to see something else. So honestly, I am really considering it, saying, hey, look, obviously you can't make a living from this here. You can't. You can't. You are going to have to look for an alternative source.
You'll have to look for an alternative source so you can keep making these videos to share, because the numbers just don't add up for me.
But why, as you said, does the YouTube algorithm not pay for these types of videos? Because those types of videos don't interest the majority of people. And what YouTube pays for are videos that reach millions of people because they are commercial topics. We don't do commercial topics, so the ads don't pay much for that type of content either, because they aren't interested in putting their ads there. Do you understand? So that's the issue. And donations are greatly appreciated, truly. But the thing is, everything went down. And of course, when we made this announcement about Mari's channel, not Mari, but Mari channel, we assumed that this would bring this type of problem, but we chose, to be honest with you, with the community, we had to be honest, sacrificing our potential economic benefit, because we could have just kept going and going with this charade, right? But we said, no, this doesn't seem right to us. We have to be honest. And because of this, many people left. They stopped supporting us. They stopped supporting us. And this affects us. And another thing I wanted to say, but you wanted to say something before.
Look, regarding that channel. Look, one thing, when I see something that doesn't add up.
Because people have to be honest. They have to be honest, have integrity.
No, be honest, have integrity. When we see something that doesn't add up, I'm the first to say it. I'm not going to stay silent. Why? Out of respect for people. So it seems that people, look, they want to be deceived. I think, what do you want me to tell you? Both you and I could say now, hey, Contact is back, and invent some story here.
We could even invent that we are channeling them, that I open myself up now and perceive them, and I could write things. Because I can also write things myself. So I could invent this type of film like Billy Meyer did, or I don't know who else, to continue with the plot, but we are never going to do that. And another thing about the donations, because sometimes people think, I believe, regarding not supporting us as much. Now, for example, in my case, when I don't make videos on Cosmic Agency, it's not because I'm not doing anything. That is very, very important, right? People don't support because they think there are no videos. But what people don't understand is that I have 3 Space Academy channels, and I am currently jumping from one channel to another, doing a lot of work there at Space Academy in French, Spanish, in English, where there is no monetization. In French, there is no monetization because it doesn't reach the required amount. To the max, you can monetize it. Space Academy, I really get 15 a month. I focus more on Space Academy. I don't care that I get 15 euros a month, I don't care. But I focus more on it. But what causes this is, it affects Cosmic Agency, where the people who supported me before see there are no videos.
It's not the only thing they see is that we are camping.
First time we went camping since September.
Exactly. Do you think I'm going to spend a whole week now earning 2 euros per video? You live a little too, right?
Live life with what you've saved.
But camping is camping. But what I mean is that I also want to give thanks for the support, but also we never talk about this. I never talk about donations. We never ask for anything. But right now, we wanted to mention the fact that we have Patreon, we have PayPal.
Well, I have my join group, which a lot of people have already joined, and man, thank you so much, because...
But it just doesn't amount to anything.
I feel like people are forgetting a bit, especially, I repeat.
What did you say? They hold on.
They hold on. Or in my case, I repeat, they think I'm not doing anything because they see a few videos on Cosmic Agency, but that's not it. I am at Space Academy, where I have 0 monetization, so I dedicate a lot of time to Space Academy. Very few people support it. Very few. French? No one. And I know that because I've noted down, if anyone supports this channel, let me know. In French, there's nothing. And look, that's fine because I will keep doing it until my savings run out because I still have some savings. I'm going little by little. I'm keeping track, watching what I spend. But if this continues like this, at some point,
You have to make a decision. I'm warning you soon.
and we'll have to look at some point, okay, what do we do in this case? Because I cannot depend on Matthias. I live with Matthias, but I don't want to, and I can't depend on him. We are now sharing expenses, and I want it to stay that way, and I want to continue with, I have so much work to do at Space Academy, so many ideas in my mind, many videos I haven't shared yet on Agencia Cosmica, and I want to keep going with that because it's my passion, not for the money, right? Because this hardly pays anything.
Yeah, but you need the money, huh? We certainly need the money since we're here on Earth, damn it. No, someone who's out there in a spaceship with the... No, that really used to bother me, you know?
No, well, we have different views here because at some point I did understand that it's necessary. I myself supported them, and I even supported them for 2 years. That money would come in handy for me. Right now, I don't know, thousands, but I don't regret it, okay? And I'm not saying like, oh, look at me. No. With a good heart, I supported them, and I'm very happy that I did it, that I was able to help, and I would really continue to help if I see a need.
But well,
Of course. And this is very important. We've made few videos explaining that situation, but there were people making a lot of money, and on top of that, asking for more, and repeating, and that for me, and I'd see the super chats there, and you'd count them, and I'd say 1,000 euros. And that broke my heart, because I thought these people are pulling their leg in a very serious way, This needs to be brought to light.
in fact, even when I get super chats during premieres, sometimes in English, I'm even embarrassed to say thank you, because I do say thank you.
I do say thank you, but wait, I say thank you, but I feel embarrassed because it's like I'm focusing on that, right? Like, I'm here for that? No, but I say thank you because I say thank you. But I'm saying we are very shy in that sense about talking about the financial topic.
Look, in the end, in my videos, in the credits, I list the people who send super chats, which sometimes is a lot of people, but of course those are super chats. I don't think they're all 50 euros each. And I list Patreon, and I list PayPal. As of today, I have to check my email. I think there are 2 or 3 people. 2 or 3 people. And one person twice.
In my Space Academy at some point, I think I'll have to put some point in my video at the end, or whatever, that this depends on people's support because there's no monetization there.
So what breaks my heart is that Gosha and I have been here for 7 years, right at the front line, and you see people who have just appeared now publishing books on Taygetan disclosure. This is just, oh my goodness.
Pause this.
And then, these 4 losers pop up and say that since this comes from space, it has to be free, damn it. And the hours we spend here, and who pays for my electricity, and who pays for my food?
But how can it be free if it's time spent on it? We have to dedicate time to this.
But also another thing that really bothers me is that they are taking our transcripts, uploading them to blogs, and removing your name and my name, huh? And this should be reported. This needs to be reported.
And you know what? People could say, well, you could make books and support yourselves that way. But look, we aren't doing that either. But why? Why, for example, do I not start selling books? We have it in mind and we are going to do it. But why? Why aren't we doing it? Because I want to publish everything for free first. I want to publish everything I have so you have access to this for free. Not focusing on books with information already given where I can charge something, Gensha chanting. I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about giving as much as possible for free. That's why we aren't selling books yet, because we want to focus. And in my case, believe me, I still haven't published everything that needs to be published. And Space Academy, I'm also developing it for another type of people. And I also want to focus on them having it for free. But in the process, well, the consequences are that our savings or whatever we have
Gets spent faster than the income comes in. So there comes a moment when you have to say, hey, a heads up to the community. Because there's going to come a point where people will say, well, where are these people? They're making videos about, I don't know what. Of course, you need to eat. Sure.
Now, the question would be, what would you do if at some point, for example, imagine we have 0, right? and nothing is coming in. What would you do at that moment? Just intellectual curiosity.
You have to quit it.
Not quit it, no, but only do it in your free time.
Well, find the free time. Find the free time.
But what would you do to support yourself financially?
I would make motorhome travel videos. I mean, I like that. There's no content generated by artificial intelligence, just a thumbnail, or you change it, because they are already starting to penalize content made with AI and all that. And I'm not even talking about robotic voices. I mean, they are starting to penalize it.
In my case, I have no idea because I didn't celebrate it, nor did I imagine in my mind that I could do something else because it's the only thing I want to do. I want to contribute. I want to help with this process of changes. All of this in the way that I can.
But well, it's what Nika and Esvara were saying, right? You give, and you receive nothing, and there comes a moment when you're no longer there.
And that happens to us. It happens to us. But well, I give, and I'm glad I give. This fulfills me. I'm just saying that physically, I also have to give food to my body because otherwise I'll faint. Well, enough talking about this topic because people are going to get bored. But yes, if you want to support us, it has to. It has to be mentioned because people need to know.
Of course, they have to know. And you shouldn't be embarrassed. Look, there's a saying that goes, he who doesn't know how to charge doesn't know how to work.
So for the Agencia Cosmica, I also have Patreon, I have PayPal. The links are always in the description of each video. And the same goes for Robert, who is despejando enigmas.
Yeah. And I don't know what else. Was there anything else?
I don't think so. We're good for now. Was there anything else?
Well, I don't know. I don't know when we'll see each other again. It's gonna be who knows.
I don't know because Robert is going back today or tomorrow.
Today I return to my city.
You see what bird is there? Bigger. Look. Some kind of big duck? No, like a black swan.
No.
It's a swan.
It's a type of duck.
No, it's not a duck, Gesha. It's not a duck, it's like a black swan.
Let's show the people.
No, leave it, let.
Them decide. Okay, I'm leaving now because my throat hurts. It doesn't hurt. From talking, not just the chat, but we've spoken these past few days. And I think that's all. Thank you very much again for your attention. For your friendship, for all the support. To the moderators who are always there in the chats, the groups, this is dedication too.
Exactly. All the moderators and such. I often ask the AI, why, if it's normal that we have so few views. And it always tells us the same thing, that you have a community that appreciates you a lot, a small community, because you know, they've been fragmenting it with infiltrators, the mutants, and all that. They have been infiltrating, compartmentalizing the community, but deep down, there are a few who, thanks to them, but well, we're just going further down. Economically, we're going down. It's like the agony is just being prolonged a little longer. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what to call it.
I always have faith. I have faith in the order of things and that I'll be fine. I never worry. I don't worry ever about money. I don't know how to explain it. Do you remember when we worked in real estate? Do you think we were worried when we went selling apartments?
No.
We were fine anyway.
We were fine. Happy.
I think that everything we are going through now is going to lead us to something very positive. Always, at least in my case, it has always been like that.
Everything ultimately leads us to something very positive.
I don't have worries because sometimes Matthias says, but if you're worried, I just observe the facts. I observe what is there. But deep down, mystically, I always feel that everything will turn out fine, that everything is fine, that it will work out somehow, that the universe will embrace us in some impossible way.
Yes. Good.
Okay, guys.
But nothing.
Thank you very much. I look better on your camera than on this one.
Yes, it's because there's more light.
Well, nothing more, guys. Thank you all very much for sticking with this video until here. subscribe, share, comment, and if you want to support us in the comment box, both on Gosha's channel and on my channel, because there are people who will only go to watch Gosha's video, only people on my video, and Gosha has his PayPal and Patreon channels, and I have mine.
Split it 12 euros here and 12 euros nicely.
Thank you very much, guys. Bye.
See you later. Until next time.
Bye, bye, bye. Thanks.
I wanted to give that to the people, but to you all, but to you too. Bye.
Bye.
Cut. Good. Do you think we talk too much about money?
It has to be talked about.